reflect upon the first time we met, or the early times we met, what took place in Kansas City back in Fort Myers in 1972?
Well, Bill, it was really kind of interesting, and it was foreign to all of us because we hadn't heard of any of that stuff. But I can remember you talking to George and looking at those plastic things that we used to slide together, and George could put them together better than anybody. And all the different eye exercises everybody was doing, and it was just foreign, as I said, but because the Academy was on the cutting edge, I think everybody kind of bought into it.
What's surprising?
You know how traditionalist we are in baseball. Everybody wants to resist everything, and now I find it really interesting. Here we are in 2012. Everybody's trying everything. The shifts you're seeing, Buck Showalter's the ultimate traditionalist. He's got 3 guys on the left side of the infield, and I think it just speaks to how much baseball can be, you know, how proactive it can be. But you know, I mean, here you are still doing this in 72, and it's very, very important. And now we're finding out that guys' careers came to an end because they didn't have that kind of training.
We know, it's really amazing. One thing I've learned over the last 2 or 3 years, something that I didn't quite understand, and maybe you've understood it far better than I, is how many guys in professional ball, and particularly Major League level, depend on pitchers' tips. In other words, they're looking for a pitch because they see a tip. Now, the point being is, and here's what I think pitching's getting tougher because the guy can throw a 4-seam or a 2-seam or a cutter and a change, same arm slot, same arm speed. Tips don't necessarily show up on it.
And you know what I'm finding out? Most guys think they can get pitchers, don't.
Yeah.
And by the time they think they get him, that fraction of a second delay causes more problems than it's worth.
And the pitcher doesn't necessarily throw that pitch anyway.
No.
Right? Yeah.
And Joe Madden talks about this too. He says he thinks hitting is lagging behind in technology, where the defense and the pitcher can take information and get better because of it, by lining up your defense according to how a guy hits. But a batter, you can't predict what he's going to throw. You still have to go back to the tried and true method. See the ball, identify what it is, and swing the bat.
I think one problem, seeing the ball is not as graphic as lining up the defense or video. And you caught a pitcher that I'll never forget, Paul Spinor. He probably didn't have the best stuff in the world, but he was as effective a pitcher as you'll ever have caught, probably because of his change in speed and location. Very successful.
And he was able to visualize what he wanted to do.
That's right.
And he had pitched the game before he ever took the mound. So when he got into that tough situation, he had been there before. And he never had to make adjustments to figure out what to do because he'd already, in his mind, pitched during that situation.
You may recall, I think you mentioned this to me once, when he came to California, he was really 10th in the rotation. It was about the time when McKeon and Whitey changed manage. You guys went on, I think, won the first division. But he was your roommate, and I gave Paul an audio tape to listen to, and I guess he put it to work.
Yeah, he did, and that tape I still remember what he did because he would fill in the blanks. Number 1 is Willie Wilson, for instance. Number 2 is UL Washington. Number 3 is Freddie Patek, and then he would pitch to those guys the night before the game. And that's the part about visualization that was so crucial to him because when he got into a jam, he'd already gotten that guy out 3 or 4 times in his mind, so he knew what he was going to do. And John Smoltz did it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And Maddox did it, and all those guys did it. And it's not an accident when those guys have success because to separate the talent level up here, you have to have commitment, routine, and you have to have the ability to accept failure. And all those great pitchers do that.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I appreciate that recollection, Buck. Thank you.
It comes back to my mind, and I'm going to write a book on it.